Testing. I'm gonna make sure the music at least came through on this one. Yeah, it came through. Okay. Let me switch screens. I'll get this up so I can look at the chat while I'm doing this. Let me turn this off. Let's see. Hello. Let me get everything up. So, I recently remembered this, Drunkle, Stanford dating sim. I played it a while back, but I can't remember if I really did anything with it. So, we're gonna do it now, and we're gonna go after Ford, because, for one, Ford is my favorite, and, yeah, so, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure everything's working real quick. Make sure, got everything, yep, links sent out and everything. Alright. Well, let me get this up. Again, sorry. If my PNG tuber is a bit delayed, that happens all the time, so it's my bad. Preferences. Yeah, that seems about right. Alright. Good old road trips. Full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul-searching, and incredible scenery. Or at least, that's what you thought before the novelty wore thin. As of now, your legs are cramping up. You've exhausted your travel playlist 2 times over, and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of all that, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints... Sorry, I'm gonna fuck up on most of this, because I usually do that. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees, and more trees. Especially on the endless winding roads that you're taking up north. All that breaks the pattern and is a sign that zips past with the words that you're just able to make out. Gravity Falls. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something, because as you drive on, you can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. And that's when it happens. Okay, let me give a different delivery. And that's what happens. Your car picks up speed. The change came out of nowhere, and you quickly put your foot on the brakes, but horrifyingly, the car seems to be driving on its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward. Like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle, the wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... crash! There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumble for the door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. You alright? Are you alright? I'm sorry, I can't sound like J.K. Simmons. A man stands at your open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves to tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining it in your eyes. 2 blinks, and he lets your chin go. No, Daddy, keep holding it. No, I mean, what? Anyways, what else? Sorry, I accidentally closed the tab. His eyes dart over to the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned, all you do is watch. What is your name? I'm she/her. Well, Cynthia, I'm Stanford. Oh! Anyways. Let me recollect myself. This is gonna happen a lot. Cynthia, I'm Stanford Pines. Ford for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up enough as it is. You seem fine as far as I can tell. But you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth were you driving to in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. Poindexter, this better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times to... The owner of the voice walks out of the house and stops slack-jawed at the side of your car and the side of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you couldn't swear you're seeing double. Sweet Moses, Ford! You've done it this time! What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and it must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it is entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. Unsure of why you're reassuring the mystery man who just wrecked your car, you give an awkward shrug. It's alright? No, I must have done something wrong. A wire mix-up, perhaps. Or the potentiometer. They're talking about your other mistake, Sixer. Oh, right. Hey, look, it's fine, alright? Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack's signage, and I can't do Stanley, I'm sorry. And a crack in the windshield that looks like an ominous triangle, but I'm sure she'll still run. You try to start up the car, it sputters, but ultimately nothing happens. You feel like crying. Oh. Well,
Let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul here. Forget, I'll take care of it. You're right. It is cheaper to tow it yourself, Sixer. Get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley, I'm going to fix this. What? You fix this mess? I figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me? It takes some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life. And this miracle worker is on vacation. Stanley, a moment.
Ford and Stanley turn away and you're left... Okay, take a minute. Let me make sure everything's still up. Yeah, it's still up, okay. Ford and Stanley turn away, and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You can take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses out here, right? So, you take a bus out of here, and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished up their chat.
So, there are a few options. My brother Stanley could drive you out to town to find a place to stay for the night, or you could stay here. We have some maps and information you can look at in the gift shop. And in the morning, we can help you with your car. What do you say?
Just as you're about to answer, another high-pitched voice comes from inside the house. Uncle Stan! Picture this, a whole week of— Oh my gosh! The girl that runs out of the house comes to a halt at the side of your car. Great. Uncle Ford?
Why is it that everyone automatically thinks I'm at fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Cynthia here to stay with us for tonight if she'd like. I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how.
Stanley sighs.
I can take a look. Being on vacation is pretty boring. And the old Stanmobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet. So it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have laying around if you need any specialized tool to help you with the job.
And let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything that there is to know about this place.
I don't know how to sound like Christian Shaw. I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on. I haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay.
And to repair your car? Yeah, it'll be good as new in my hand. I mean, look at my Stanmobile. She's been going through the ringer who knows how many times, and she's still a beaut. He points at a red car parked in the distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Free repairs, free lodging, there's no better deal to be found, and if things don't work out, the town probably has some sort of auto repair shop you can head to instead.
Well, I accept. Thanks for the help.
And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. Let's see. Fuck, I didn't mean to close out of the tab again. Sorry. As the Pines lead you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number in your phone for you to call whenever. And you... Sorry. Hate the weather. As the Pines lead you into the house, Mabel leaves her number in your phone to call whenever, and you find out Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part's the house, but just outside that door is the mystery shack. Hey, you ever been to the mystery machine? You ever been to the mystery machine, Scoop? I'm sorry. I'm crashing out, but in a good way. Hey, you ever been to the mystery shack before?
wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud, triumphant, ha! Ha! Those bumper stickers were a good investment! And Sixer says they're too plain and graphically simplistic. And don't even have an address on them, Stanley. How is anyone supposed to find the place to attract customers, Sixer? Sixer, did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how she found the place, let alone what is the mystery shack was compelling. I kind of liked it. See, she kind of liked it. I like you, Cynthia. How about I give you a tour to our regular price? Stan, I like your brother. Stanley's bros got it going on. Tomorrow? Then I'll just squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions in today. Cynthia, tell me, capybara, yes or no? At that moment, a boy passes by the hallway at the far doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy, I'm surprised that I didn't see you run out of the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi, Oh, you have someone with you. Hey, I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car inside of the shack, though? For a second, I thought Manitors were back on with a grudge. Yes, about that. Dipper, meet Cynthia. I've, stranded her car here by accident. She's staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded her car here? You crashed it? Yeah, the S in the shack fell off and everything. The windows are cracked. One window, the windshield. And Cynthia was lucky to make it out alive. She's fine. No injuries, thankfully. The magnet's gone rather safe despite her. I'm not as smart as you. Yeesh, did you not, take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation was that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you two are gonna do nerd talk, I'm gonna get Cynthia soon. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Cynthia around? Let her stay in, the storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you around the storage room you'll be staying in. Then the kitchen, then the living room, and the hallway, and the bathroom, and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually, you find out that the family is even more extended than you knew. The decorative doilies make a lot more sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here, and her grandson, or was it Zeus? Whatever the name. You look forward to meeting him when he comes for work in the morning. When you go up to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, notes stuck in his book, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family stares up at you from Mabel's bed, a rotund pink pig, who Mabel declares as her best friend and partner in crime, Waddles. The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks to the boopable noses. And in the evening, you thought you'd be in disbelief over the state of your car, family dinner, and after-dinner TV marathon you've been invited to make it seem like a normal guest stay rather than a forced circumstance. Returning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you, and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming in through the small, high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter. And then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see that you slept into the afternoon, experiencing Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday, Despite having been assured yesterday,
Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you still feel like imposing on the Pines family. You feel like you're imposing on the Pines family. Try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford.
Daddy!
Excuse. Oh, you're. Yes, from yesterday, of course. For a good solid moment, Ford regards you in awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley is taking a look at your car outside if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and make your leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Cynthia, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault. You shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks. You can't keep the dismay off your face, and can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I gonna do with weeks? Ford, who had gotten kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can't answer. Well, there's a town to tour, of course, and the Mystery Shack. But if you ask me, that all pales in comparison to... Hold on. Did you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. It's the squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddles tunnels past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in her hand. Ford steps out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug of war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after toppling backward from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddles' jaws and lifts both pieces up victoriously.
Ha-ha! Mabel wins again! Now I just gotta find Uncle Ford!
Ford, who had run and held a hand out to steady the energetic child when she had been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled up sheets shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat.
Uncle Ford, you've got to help me!
Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter?
Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in, and Waddles ran up and started eating one of them, and he must have been chewing on it to warn me. Uncle Ford, because look! Mabel takes a look. Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding it up for Ford to see.
I see. And took it as a warning?
Yes, it says here that he eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, that he's kind of like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have been feared for his life. Waddles seems to second the notion with a snore. Or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably in a short distance away from the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Like a wee-woo?
Something bigger. You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore.
Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time. I can't let him leave my side.
Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are a lot in museums around here? How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. Mabel flops down on the floor in relief.
Uncle Ford, you're an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear.
Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel and standing back up. Alright, I'll go get my recipe. Ford turns to leave, but you suddenly remember without nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here. It wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what is new around town anyway, and you'll need that to not die of boredom in the first week. Or... No, I need to get to know Ford.
Ford, wait. Need a hand with the recipe?
I can handle it myself.
Ford looks away, and then you follow his verted line of sight to Mabel, who's just mouthed something that you can catch. When she catches you looking her way, Mabel gives you a 100-watt smile. A picture of innocence. Ford rubs the back of his neck.
Yes, I suppose I can accept some help.
And with that, assured that Ford is on the task, you spot Mabel rolling away with Waddles into the living room. I cannot speak today.
Before we get started, I suppose I should give you an introduction. Cynthia, tell me, do you believe in the supernatural? Zaddy, I am the supernatural. Well, you're about to come face to face with the unexplainable yourself. You see, Gravity Falls isn't some quiet, unassuming backwater town. Much more lurks below its surface.
Ford pockets the crumpled journal papers and gestured for you to join him as he walks. You do, and follow him through the living room and into the gift shop.
For example, you must have heard Mabel mention a pterodactyl. Most would say none exist in the living world today, but I say not if you know where to look.
Ford reaches under the cashier counter and retrieves a pack of vintage-looking gum, inspects it for a moment before slipping it in his pocket. He looks around in thought.
Hold on to my explanation for a moment. I need to retrieve more supplies.
Ford ushers you out of the gift shop and turns so you find yourself outside of the shack, then shuts the door behind you. Okay. You correctly and politely just stand out there until Ford returns. You maybe scan the sky for a pterodactyl while you wait. Not too long after, the door opens behind you and Ford joins you outside, looking no different than before. He must have stored whatever supplies he went to retrieve in his coat, but the trench coat falls too naturally on his figure for him to be hiding much.
Where were we? Ah, yes.
Ford then pulls out a pen and pad of paper from his coat and walks as he writes. Just as you're about to head out, he stops and smacks his hand onto his face.
Oh, shoot. 1 second.
He hurries back to the house, realizing he forgot one important component to this adventure, a butterfly net. Before you get a chance to ask, he strides out ahead of you, obviously in no mind to tell you what it's quite yet. The pair of you walked past the shack and down a well-worn path into the trees surrounding the house. Sunlight through the pines. He double-checks whatever he scribbled onto the paper and tucks it back into one of his seemingly infinite pockets. He stops and turns to face you with a definitive nod.
My recipe for repellent called. Sorry. My brain is not braining tonight. My recipe for repellent called for a sprig of lavender, 2 thin slices of ginseng. I don't know how to say that. A drop of bat blood, a chunk of amber, and 3.5 milliliters of ink, sorry. He pauses, staring down at the path in thought. Obviously, I already have all those components out in hand, all except for the last ingredient, a single moth swing from Mothman himself.
You can't help it. You gasp. Ford glances at you and you see a hint of a smile before he turns to the path and continues to Shoddy, it's like a melody in my head and I can't bring today cause I'm stupid and not every day. Got no brain cells left on replay. Anyways.
You see, Mothman is the very creature on the page that Waddle seems to fear. Using a piece of itself should ward it away, or at least lead it to believe that Waddles isn't breathing.
I need to check something real quick. My stream is being... That or my Wi-Fi is being weird. Okay.
back up. You see, okay, I already read that. I would have already completed the repellent years ago if I managed to collect that wing.
Was it too difficult?
Well, I just never got around to it. Besides, Mothman used to come at this lamp I had lit out in the backyard. It seemed like such an innocent hobby that I never had the heart to chase it off. But if this brings Mabel and her bigger peace of mind, then the time has come to finish this. Sunlight filters through the trees, causing dappled shadows across Ford's coat as he lays in front of you.
How do you know so much about this stuff?
I study anomalies, anything unusual, strange, and just plain weird. I began my research in this town because it was and remains the hotbed of paranormal activity. I made this exact trip years ago, though at the time I had no idea where I was going. It was just dumb luck that I managed to tow Mothman back to its cave from my backyard. Navigating the forest by moonlight is poetic, but not advisable. I made plenty of other discoveries as well, from fairies to gnomes to amalgams of creatures who were never meant to cross to... Ah, wait.
Ford reaches into his pocket and pulls out the slightly crumpled pages Mabel had pushed into his hand earlier, smoothing them out and shuffling through them.
Take a look at these. They're definite proof than just my word.
You accept the pages from him and find that they're scanned pages from some journal. Just as you heard Mabel say, fluid cursive tells of Mothman, beard cubs, scamp fires, and more. Ford gestures to them and explains.
I detailed my discoveries in a series of research journals. The remaining pages, at least, I wonder where Stanley was keeping these.
You drew these?
Yes, of course. Who else?
I love your line work.
My work is now far better, but I appreciate the compliment.
Despite his understated words, Ford looks surprisingly... I'm dying! Anyways. Were any of these creatures ever dangerous?
Oh, extremely. Some were worse. Dangerously annoying.
Though Ford seems to find his own comment amusing, he doesn't fail to notice your unease.
I do have weapons in case things escalate, so there's no need to worry.
You brought weapons?
Not many. I have a stun gun, my fists, and my sharp wit. I
feel safer already. You must have gotten up to some crazy stuff back then.
That's one way to put it. Only took 6 years for me to get it in over my head.
He takes a silent moment to look away from your gaze, seemingly in a bittersweet remembrance. Suddenly, Ford puts an arm out in caution, slowing his pace. You narrowly manage to not collide with him and take a quick glance around the scene. Nothing?
Look! There!
What looks like a bundled up plaid shirt moving along the forest floor. Wait, is that a beaver's tail? It looks like
a platypus. What are you doing all the way out here?
Don't you mean platypus?
Don't you mean Patty the platypus? I'm sorry.
Disney, when are we getting the Doofus versus Dave? That would be the most base shit post ever.
Ford shakes his head with a grin. I meant what I said. It's a platypus. A platypus.
Ford moves
moves into a crouch, but stays at a respectable distance, following the small creature. You watch him, and after a moment, mimic his actions. Ford gives the creature a bright smile, the first of its kind that you've seen since leaving Mabel at the shack. You're a cute one, aren't you? And in one of my favorite patterns, too. Ford motions for you to move forward a little to the distance he's maintaining. If I were to rate the oddities that live in this forest on a scale of least to most annoying, these little guys would get immunity. They've done nothing wrong, and I appreciate them. He is so silly! I love it, Ford. I love you. I love you. We don't need to go any further. Let's go get married. As the two of you watch in quiet appreciation, the platypus ambles into the underbush and vanishes for a few. What a cute little guy. The two of you continue deeper into the forest. The foliage seems denser now, and you look through the treetops for a glimpse of the sun, which is by now dropped low in the sky. It had already been getting late when you left, but you thought Mothman would be hadn't thought Mothman would be this far out. Almost as though he'd read your mind, Ford answered you. Mothman is rather reclusive, and as such lives deeper within the forest than bolted creatures like the gnomes. Ooh! I'm a gnome! I'm a gnotic gnome! And you've just been gnomed! I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. Are you alright? Huh? That is, are you tired at all? I should have asked sooner. It's just been a long time since I've traveled with anyone new. Stanley tends to speak his mind without my asking. I'm fine, really. Glad to hear it. Still, we have some time until sunset. Let's wait here until in the meantime. Why wait until sunset? You'll see. The moment the sun touches the horizon and the gaps of the treetops, Ford gestures for the two of you to continue. You hadn't noticed, but you have been resting within a short distance of a small clearing that holds a cylindrical stone marker. The stone marker bears intricate swirls. It's the Pokemon mystery dungeon thingy. I'm sorry. Ford reaches into his coat and produces the packet of gum from earlier, opening it and dumping the pieces onto his palm. Gum. Thanks. Unsure of why you came all this way out here just to unwrap gum at the sunset, you accept the stick of gum. Ford puts the remaining gum in his coat. He unwraps the now empty gum to reveal that it was hiding a small piece of parchment folded up to act as lining. He smooths out against the stone, holding it deep into the orange red light of the sunset. You step closer to look over Ford's shoulder. I'm sorry, guys. I'll just stop. Ford reads the words as they appear. Such a place that Mothman doth rest, but please do not disturb his nest. If kindness be something thou beareth. Ford lifts the parchment a little higher to prevent his shadow from obscuring the rest of the line. Follow thy nature and turn left. I think you should answer this one. The answer is clearly left. Let us continue onwards. Left leads you to a dimly lit cave, which Ford says he remembers well, except last time he was here, it was pitch black since he arrived in the middle of the night. From its depths you hear a faint sound of dripping water, echoing off the cave's shadow-shrouded walls. You slow as your steps attempt to adjust to the low light. Ford pauses in front of you, reaching into his coat for something. Hold on, I have a flashlight in here somewhere. This cave has never received such a natural light, you see. He rummages further, and you see a couple dice. The pad of paper from earlier and a quill. He has some custom pocket work going on in there, too. And you bet one of his coat's inner pockets has a pen protector in it. Here we are, at last. Allow me to... Darn. out of batteries.
Wait, I think I have one. You pull out your phone and turn on its flashlight. The light is small, but it does the job.
Huh. You saved our hides, Cynthia. You saved our hides there, Cynthia. I was about to pull out a matchbook.
With your light guiding the way, you and Ford move further into the cave, which yawns wide around you until it's surrounded.
It's been years since I've been here. Decades, even at this point. But I'll always remember the eye bats as one of my first discoveries when I arrived at Gravity Falls.
How did you find them in the first place?
One got into my house, you see. I was making breakfast one morning and managed to find it in my cereal box. When I poured the cereal into the bowl, it came fluttering out, agitated like it belonged there. The nerve! Agitated like it belonged there, the nerve.
He still sounds so indignant even years later that you laugh.
I wanted to contain it for further study, but unfortunately it managed to get away. As I thought about it afterwards, its pupil had constricted against the light, unfamiliar of the bright light in the kitchen, so either it's nocturnal or it lives in the deepest, darkest caves of Gravity Falls. I found them easily after that.
Did you ever manage to catch one?
Somewhat. I came running through this cave with a butterfly net and my wits. I brought a working flashlight that time. They all hid in the dark corners. Once I turned the flashlight off, they flocked to me. I caught 18 of them that day, but it reminded me of the stealth uses of...
The rapid sound of clicking claws against stone startled you. A shiver ran up your spine. The dark. You turn off your light. Ford taps your shoulder and gestures for you to keep moving forward. Eventually, the narrow passage widens into a large room. The darkness shrouds the source of dripping water from view, but your eyes adjust and squint to see a strange winged shadow. A shadow with eyes that glow red in near darkness like rubies. Your breath catches in your throat as the realization comes over you. Ford is apparently fairly close to you in the room. You find when he speaks a few inches from your shoulder, you catch the shadow of his arm swing out into a wide arc like he's introducing you to
Cynthia, I'd like you to meet the Mothman,
he whispers. But even in the dark, you see him grinning excitedly at you, and I didn't mean to click that.
Don't worry, it hasn't noticed us yet.
Here's your plan.
You make contact with Mothman, and
He pulls out a butterfly.
He pulls out a butterfly net and a large lidded jar. Now, where that one came from within his coat of mysteries is lost to you. We'll capture one of the 100 moths that comprise it.
Wait, I get to touch Mothman? The Mothman?
Yes, and it turns into 100 black witch moths. It's like experiencing a swarm of locusts, surprising when you're not expecting to it. Remember, even a light touch is enough.
You steel yourself, awaiting Ford's signal. He waves his hand to coax you forward, and then it's up to you to decide how, to make contact. Stealth. You tiptoe towards Mothman, remembering Ford's comment on the dark travel channel. Of course, that's the
You confuse remembering Eagle and her number in context unless you made that her custom reset.
Mothman turns into noising screeches. Before you can grill into it, the creature explodes into 100 moths, fluttering around you, getting stuck in your shirt and skittering around your face, surrounding you in mothy hell. Your task accomplished, Ford rushes into the large swarm of moths, waving the butterfly net with a few unsuccessful swipes. He tries swatting more aggressive ones away, but there are too many. You grab your phone and quickly switch the light on, running to Ford's side and holding it up high. Even attempt to call him over despite knowing that he don't respond to sound. Before long, they all crowd around the phone. The sight of the light flickering and reflecting off so many
butterfly net back away in a jar in hand and carefully scoops one of the moths up. Well, that could have gone better, but we've succeeded, nonetheless. As Ford pockets the jar, you turn off your light. With no light and no thread to focus on, the cloud disperses. That was amazing! Ford laughs, brushing dust and dirt off his trench coat. You could say that. Our completed repellent is within sight. Let's head back. Ford turns to leave the cave. He looks calm and content. You, on the other hand, are buzzing with energy under an adrenaline rush. Should you go for a high five? Yeah. You raise your hand in a universally understood offer of a high five. Ford pauses, then grins and high five you, or rather, 6.
Look at the art! The art is so pretty!
When you and Ford finally reach the cave entrance, you find the forest that you'd left in the dying light is now washed with your silvery glow. With that silvery glow, not my silver, so I don't have a silvery glow. I don't know. A gap between the leaves overhead provides the view of the night sky along with a long string of stars. A few more steps and the Milky Way comes into view, looking as if a tear across the fabric of the sky. Ford notices you looking. See something? The pterodactyl doesn't usually come out to sleep. Being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable. But being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable.
I've never seen the Milky Way in person before. It looks amazing.
Isn't it? It's remarkable what you can see without light pollution from the city. Here on the outskirts of town, you can see a pretty good portion of the Milky Way every night.
You both stare up at the sky in a comfortable silence for a few more moments. The quiet of the forest settles in, along with this distant sound of flowing water, and you find yourself surprisingly glad the Ford accidentally pulled you here. If this is one of the moments you get to experience. Out of the corner of your eye, you could have sworn you see. Out of the corner of your eye, you swear you see Ford looking at you instead of up. But when you tilt your head back down, his attention is elsewhere. Eventually, the two of you come to a wordless mutual agreement to continue on, and you're walking again. You'll have to show me the other creatures that live here sometime. You're glad you said it when you look over and find that Ford pleasantly surprised to hear it. His chest puffs out with pride.
Of course, maybe we'll even get to spawn the hive behind, or tag along with Dipper when he next visits the multiverse.
The what?
Ford taps his temple. You'll have to wait until I show you to find out.
I'm holding you to that.
We have some time left before we get back, if you're up for another walk.
You must make a face because Ford looks back to you and laughs.
We're not far, I promise. I just thought I might answer a few more of your questions if you have any.
Actually, I do have questions.
You must stay in great shape if you do this all day. You know, actually, this sort of thing isn't part of my exercise regimen.
Ford turns at the left stone marker, which serves the sound of the river, and sure enough, after a while, it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. After following the river for quite a few minutes, the shoreline expands to a round snow-like lake in the center of the clearing. Overhanging is a large flat rock, the kind that could be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency. The emergency being for that one just had to jump into the lake. However, neither of you know Ford really look in the direction of the diving board. He leads you to the edge of the lake where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench. I cannot speak today. I am so sorry. And the two of you take a seat. Break the silence. Are you really okay with me staying here?
Absolutely, I owe it to you after all. You helped me today, however, was not part of the plan. You helping me today
sad to wait, but can I at least get a preview of what I'd be getting into?
Not content to leave them before you Not content to leave them to discover yourself, Well, has anyone told you about the Gobble Walker? That reminds me, I posted something on fuck, was it Instagram or Twitter? I made like a psychic pebbles type creature. I need to, if I ever edit this, I need to put it in. His name was Gumphrey Wonker Scrunch. It just reminded me of that. I need to find it. You snort, taken aback by the name, but compose yourself when Ford simply raises an eyebrow. I don't think so, no. Not even the tourist guide? Does the office even read my letters? Ford mutters to himself something about updating the tourist guide to warn against local dangers. He sighs with frustration that's reserved for but soon lightens up at the prospect of getting introduced you to another strange creature. Well, the Gobblewonker is a large sea creature that lives in this very lake. One can say it's our version of the Loch Ness Monster. My old research assistant apparently saw it at some point. I need to redo that. My old research assistant apparently saw it at one point. He said it was large, gray, and scaly, with a long neck like a giraffe. You wouldn't have had any odd sightings of it yet, have you? It's only been 24 hours, but my own first encounter with the strange occurred shortly after my arrival as well. Apart from that, hey. Don't count that I'm being the norm, Cynthia. In fact, the norm is a laughable concept here. So... actually... yes, the Mystery Shack used to be my house once upon a time, and now it's a tourist trap. I'm glad for what it became as a whole. I just wish it weren't so offending to each of the senses. Ford looks out across the lake and thought, Cynthia, I have to admit, I didn't want to take you with me earlier today. I thought I'd be walking myself into an uncomfortable social situation. Real! You are so fucking real for that, Ford. But I love you. It is okay. You silly goober. I love you. So did you, Cynthia. It knows! And you did well out there. Not many tours could handle the kind of task we just completed. This has the potential to have gone disastrously. I mean, a butterfly net against Mothman? Easily a 3% success rate. Sometimes, the more Ford speaks, the less reassured you feel until that's left in a distant unease. You smile and nod anyway. The two of you sit in another moment of quiet night air, pleasantly chilling around you until Ford again breaks it. We should head back now. I'm sure Mabel will want to hear that we've been successful. You stand and give Ford a hand up from the makeshift bench. Ford then takes the lead again, and soon you're no longer able to catch sight of the link when you glance back. I can't speak today. Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with your incompanionable silence as you make your way back to the shack. Almost there. You recognize from the incredibly flashy signs touting phrases like Mystery Shack is this way and Sasquatch to your left that you are extremely close to arriving back to the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see the bright lights shining on the porch. You make out the faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run to the house and emerge in the attic window. And Mabel pushes it open, leaning out.
But Uncle Ford, finally! You guys took so long, I had to cover waddles and macaroni.
Why would you do that?
I have my reasons. Did you get the thing?
Yes, and I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting. Cynthia, come along. We have a pig to save.
Ford strides into the shack, a man on a mission. You grade and follow, but not before taking one last look at the sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be too bad after all. Back inside the shack, the grand conclusion to your expedition to the Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's pig with the newly finished deterrent until the poor piglet reeks of lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to bed looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash off fairly soon afterwards, face first into your makeshift bed. We'll do one more, and then I'll call it. I love him! You wake up to a loud crash downstairs, not entirely uncommon in this house. You quickly finding out, but still concerned. More clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen where Mabel teeters on a short step ladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches as high as she can for a small yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and flick the box from the shelf from her, placing it into her outstretched hand.
Oh, Cynthia, thank you. Uncle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, but I need to make some Mabel cakes. It's a breakfast emergency.
She waggles her free fingers in your face, and you can't help but laugh. You can tell the house becomes more alive when this kid's around.
Wanna help me make them? You only need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and a pot of Goldos to make this breakfast a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask where the coffee comes into the mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everybody? Oh, Uncle Stan needed stuff for your car, so he went to get some techie stuff for that. I think Uncle Ford's somewhere.
He heard the abominable bro man was trying to steal soda from the campers, so he went to help him out.
Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that.
So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own? You don't know the family well enough to know that this is a commonplace, so the idea of leaving two teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of the teenagers wasn't Mabel, anyway. You still don't know how the coffee fits into her Mabel cakes, but now you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake and mix from... I hate this weather. She's grabbing the chocolate milk from the fridge. Apparently, he doesn't want to find out either. Mabel, well, your Mabel cakes sound absolutely divine. Why don't we think of something so you don't hurt her feelings? Is there somewhere we can go out to get breakfast? We should really save the Mabel cakes till your great uncles get back. I know they wouldn't want to miss out on them.
I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking stuff so I can survive out there in the world. What if in high school I need to bake stuff and people are better than me?
Mabel looks very agitated, tugging her hair with both hands.
If I can't make perfect Mabel cakes, I can never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambone. Cynthia, it's my destiny.
Quick, think of something so you don't hurt her. Dipper, can you cook? Maybe Dipper can help you find or make something different? We should save Mabel cakes for another day. A more special day.
But Cynthia...
Mabel's still standing on the step ladder, reaches out and squishes your cheeks together. Her wide eyes staring into your soul.
Every day is a special day with Mabel cakes.
You glance at Dipper, making a please help me, I'll buy you breakfast face. Hope. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy you breakfast face, and hope he understands. Yeah, Mabel, I know you want to cook more since you're...
Becoming an adult?
Sure, but don't you think Uncle Stan and Great Uncle Ford should be here to try them too? And not just me. Again. Mabel hops off the step ladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually, she nods, beaming at you both.
You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience.
You give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head as she puts the ingredients back in the refrigerator. He
Stan's back at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. That's clever. Now that you think about it, great plus uncle to make grunkle. Saves times on syllables.
We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there, with like 3 different kinds of syrups. If you ask Lazy Susan nicely.
Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something.
Wait, aren't you gonna leave a note for your grunkles about where you're going?
Oh, right. Good call. Dipper scribbles out on a note for Stan and Ford and sticks on the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. The kids lead the way towards the town, explaining various landmarks and the wild and the wonderful stories attached to them along the way.
And this is where we saw those 2 ghostly old people
In a convenience store? Strange, but no, regardless, maybe she just meant they were so old they look like ghosts. Though, after what you heard about Gravity Falls already, you could believe they were real ghosts. Dipper points out the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop a train car, and the 3 of you head inside. You soon realize that the kids know just about everyone in this town. Several people, young and old, wave at them as the 3 of you find a table. And you get the feeling they're almost famous in Gravity Falls, though you're not entirely sure why. My voice just cracked. Anyways, they're pretty cute though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper over her straw and Dipper's face, and he retaliates by swatting her with a laminated menu. An elderly woman in pastel pink waitress dress comes up to the table, and you catch her name on the tag, Susan.
Hiya, kids!
I'm so sorry if I can't sound like Jennifer Coolidge.
Hiya, kids and stranger. What can I get for ya? Pancakes and all 3 syrups for me, please, Lazy Susan.
Same for me, actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, notepad in hand.
I'll get pancakes too. Coming right up, sweetie.
Lazy Susan winks with her good eye, of course, and heads to the back of the diner. The wait for your food to arrive feels longer here than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using this time to interrogate you. At first, it's somewhat intimidating. You literally crashed into their house and started hanging out with their great uncle, so they have a lot of questions. Once the irrational fear of 2 13-year-olds fades out, you recognize their interview for what it really is. They care about their grunkles. If you do start hanging out with them more, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions were somewhat nonsensical.
So, if you were stranded on a desert island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you?
While Dippers are more careful and calculated. What were you doing before you came here? School, work, both, neither? Did you know about Gravity Falls before you crashed into the shack? You immediately know which grunkle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime, versus the quiet brainiacs Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you're thrown in the middle of the bunch. But as the twins race to see the syrup bottle drips into their mouths the fastest, Dipper's blueberry syrup beats Mabel's classic maple in a half millisecond. You swear on it. You know that these kids do a lot more for their great uncles than just be cute counterparts.
And here we go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Oh my god. Bye.
I'm sorry, I can't get over that. Lazy Susan gives up their respective plates and the 2 kids go quiet, shoveling their food down like they've never been fed before. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself and your favorite theories on aliens versus which member of M synchronized was your favorite, but the table is near silent as the 3 of you eat. That is until Mabel speaks up through a mouthful of pancakes.
So, Cynthia, if in a totally made up and totally not real situation, if you had to pick who your favorite was, who would you pick? Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford?
That seems too bland compared to her other cutesy questions. Dipper elbows her sister not so subtly as she elbows him right back, wide eyes staring at him in a sibling-linked look you can't decipher.
Like, say you're in a movie. Like one of those weird movies Grunkle Stan watches on TV with the ladies in poofy dresses riding horses.
Awfully specific, but you let her continue, taking another bite of your food.
You're the main character of this movie and you got two guys who are both madly in love with you.
This one doesn't mess around with getting right to the point, huh?
But you can only marry one of them so you could be in the next line for the throne. What would you do? If Grunkle Stan and Grunkle 4 were your choices, who would you go with?
Mabel, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, really weird and kind of gross.
Come on, Dipper. This is important information that's vital to my research.
What research?
None of your business. Yet. But I'm still gathering other research.
Mabel leans towards Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her brow before she replies, and not a whisper, but quite the opposite.
Research into how you're a huge nerd.
And with that, Mabel catapults a spoonful of melted butter atop her pancakes onto Dipper's cheek with a very satisfying splat. Dipper jerks in disgust but retaliates by smearing strawberry syrup on Mabel's nose, a drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater.
Ew, gross!
You're gross. The two knew vitriol between the twins, but loads of giggles were and a few more various humours. Eventually, syrup streaks Mabel's cheekbones and her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to his face. You guys are dorks.
Maybe you're right. Love are twins, so it's adorable.
If you say so, Mabel.
Wait, quick, Cynthia. Take a picture of us while Dipper's got the pancake on his face.
I have what? He swipes quickly at his face, and after several passes, it gets off.
Aw, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us.
Mabel, you have syrup everywhere.
Really? Then it wouldn't have been a perfect photo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough.
You get back up with a napkin in hand, try to wipe off the syrup off of Mabel's cheeks. The excess syrup swipes off easily, but a good person doesn't budge. I mean, maybe syrup makeup is the new look. That's one word for it, kid. We wondered where you went once we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried. Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time, heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor old Grunkle's heart. He puts a hand over his heart dramatically. All those missing hours of unpaid child labor. Grunkle staying out of context. Actually, that note wasn't me. Well, I wrote it, but Cynthia was the one who said we should, so that you know where we went. Both Ford and Stan turned to look at you, surprised. Really? Figured these two knuckleheads dragged you here. Why not make breakfast at home? This place is at least 15-minute walk from the shack.
Well,
He glanced at Dipper, swiping his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking blueberry syrup off. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth, chewing on it like a crazy sheep.
I wanted to treat them to something, I guess. It's the least I can do.
You're letting me stay with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was gonna make Mabel cakes again.
You're just mad you can't even make the toast right.
What? Yes, I can. I burned it one time. One time. Dipper holds his syrup-tipped finger in the air, indignant.
Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too, and since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out.
Stan snatches the pancake from Mabel's mouth and takes a bite out of it, cackling when she stands on his seat to try and grab it back, climbing over Dipper to reach. Aside from the kerfuffle, you catch Ford's eye. Was he staring at you? As soon as he realizes, he quickly sets his gaze elsewhere, looking over your head and out the window. You say that he probably just shifted his attention, but his finger hooks under the high neck very kind of you to bring them here.
Yeah, look at his blush. I love you.
Well, it wasn't a big deal, really. I'm happy to help. You smile at him, pretending you don't feel how warm your face is. Maybe it's just hot and greasy. Ford looks close to the shade of his sweater. Nipper. That's the Steven Universe. That's the Steven Universe fusion of Mabel and Dipper. Dipper mumbles an ow when you catch Mabel elbowing his side, waggling her eyebrows at him. You're not sure why. Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now.
Uncle Flora, that means it's time for brunch, duh.
See, this kid gets me. Now let me in so I can go get some grub. Dipper moves to your side of the booth as Stan sits to Mabel. Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy student comes back to take orders from the food and drinks, and everyone. You're starting to regret offering to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try their hand at syrup drip race and Dipper cheering them on, Ford watches with wide grins on his face. You know you don't really mind that much. After the expedition to find Mothman, you accompany Ford on a few other missions, so to speak, examining various birds on the forest, and a questionable stomach-faced dog who snatched your sandwich and quickly ran off, Ford hot in pursuit. While he didn't find what evidence, you asked why he decided the octopus was too stupid to study, but received a loud groan and too sticky as an answer. The octopus. I'm sorry, kill me. All in all, your adventures with Ford have been more than enjoyable than you expected, and you can't help but hope you get to experience another one with them soon. You walk through the living room, lost in thought about questioned quails and Ford's journal pages, narrowly avoiding some chewed breath paper. Ah! Don't look! Oh, it's you. Dipper peers out over a book that proclaims D.D. More D, officially Alliance's campaign journal. He's sitting on a yellow armchair with crisscrossed legs barricaded in books and papers. He's got a lap of multicolored dice and a half a dozen chewed pencils strewn across the floor, and one in his mouth. You look down and notice the floor is almost entirely covered in graph paper. Hi. Did you need something? I know it's kind of messy. I should probably clean that up. Dipper looks reluctant to extract himself from his self-constructed fantasy lore prison. Sorry, I need to take a sip of my drink.
Here, I can do it. You look busy. You're about halfway through cleaning the floor before you actually start looking at what's on the various sheets you're holding. A fantasy map, some floor plans, and countless scribbled notes and calculations in the margins. What are these for? Planning something? Dipper's re-immersed in his planning, and he startles a little when you ask.
Oh, right. No big deal. It's just for the great pen and paper role-playing game called Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. DD and MD for short. It's all about fantasy worlds and statistics and swords. Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's super fun. I'm playing it with Grunkle 4 today, so I'm just putting down the final touches on my dungeon. He's gonna be so stumped. Stumped, you say? Ford comes into the room at the precise moment, drying his hands on his trench coat. Perfect timing, Dipper. I just managed to get the paint off my hands. Paint from what? Oh, one of the gnomes came by and decided he'd graffiti the side of the house. Something about his rapper persona. Yeesh. Yeah, I don't think Jay Gnomesy is going anywhere sorry. Yeah, I don't think I think I'm gonna go speak to him, sorry. Yes, I don't think Jay Gnomesy is going anywhere in the music business. In any event, I see you've been hard at work. Are you ready for our game? Yes, and no, Cynthia, I can take those now. Thanks for the help. Ford looks like he just noticed you standing there for the first time since he entered the room. Cynthia, glad to see you weren't too shaken up by our adventure yesterday.
You grin and hand Dipper a tall stack of papers, catching a glimpse of stats for a knock-knock skull. Well, I made it back in one piece, right?
That's the spirit, though 90% of the piece would have been good too, you know. You never realize how little difference 10% makes until you lose it. So how was the Mothman? Shaken up, all in the name of research though. I've seen it lose a few moths and come back in the next week good as new. A process akin to cycling out of dead cells. I would say we just expedited the process. No moral issues there. Well, Cynthia, this Cynthia game calls and I must answer. Stanley's about if you're looking for him though. Well, if you wanted to join our game, I certainly wouldn't object. I can promise a fun afternoon. Another player! Yeah, totally. I can give you a pre-made character sheet to start and dice. Shoot, where'd I put in my other set? Don't worry, I've got another set.
Me? I don't even know how to play.
Oh man, there are so many rules. Where to start? I mean, it's really easy to pick up, even if it's kind of popular now.
You're not too sure about committing to cold afternoon. I am joining them.
Right. Oh shoot, did you take a look at the plans earlier? Those were for the Dungeon Master's eyes only. If only I knew you were gonna join us.
Don't worry, I didn't look.
What a relief. No, wait, what if you're lying to get an edge in the game? Is this legal, Grunkle Ford? What? I didn't hear. What? I didn't hear. I was just categorizing these DD and MD books. How many volumes do they have these days?
Dipper and Ford put their final pieces into place. Floor encircled a mix of propped up corkboards, books, maps, and loose leaf paper. Ford unfolds a game of board in the center of the madness.
Brilliant! We're all ready. Don't look so nervous, Cynthia. Allow me to walk you through it.
Ford sits down next to the game board. He pats a piece of carpet next to him, inviting you to sit, and you do. Dipper sits across from you on the other side of the game board and unfolds an illustrated piece of cardboard, propping it up in front of him. He notices your questioning gaze on it and looks back to you.
Oh yeah, this is the Dungeon Master's...
I promise after this I'm ending stream.
Oh yeah, this is the Dungeon Master. Thank you, Hot Diggity Demon, for making for making that one of my vocal stems. Oh yeah, this is the Dungeon Master screen. It's just there to protect my secrets. It hides essential die rolls and plot points from prying player eyes. Grunkle Ford's tried taking a look ahead once or twice and spoiled a narrative twist, and you were the only player! I'm just making sure my dungeon mastering apprentice stays on his toes. You can never be too vigilant.
Dipper gathers up his dice in a pile next to the DM screen. Ready to roll when needed.
Now, I mentioned an extra dice set, didn't I? Dice are an important, though by no means essential, component of gameplay. No adventurer should leave this house without a set. I keep mine in a souvenir velvet dice bag from Dimentio, a local game store, yes.
Ford retrieves a dark drawstring bag from his coat and empties it on to the floor where the dice was.
And now for yours.
Ford pulls another matching drawstring bag from the jug. I have a new headcanon for my Gravity Falls Cynthia AU. I feel like she would snag the infinite-sided dice and just propose it for it that way.
They were having a buy one get one discount. Go ahead and take a look. This will be yours for this session.
You pour these dice onto the carpet as well. Metallic gold with the numbers embossed in black. Fancy.
While I didn't have enough left to make them more solid gold, I was able to electroplate a set of fun. Right, Uncle Ford, you electroplated those dice? They're so nice. That didn't mean to rhyme. Maybe you should be the one with the rapping career, not Jay Gnomesy. Ford and Dipper laugh. Yeah, maybe not. But anyway, let me reintroduce our characters. Dipper clears his throat, setting the Dungeon Master's persona. When we last left our heroes, Miv the Meddling traveled the great elven wizard Vernon. Sorry. My brain stopped. And the halfling fighter Tyros in a dungeon filled to the brim with puzzles, riddles, and brain teasers. To reach Miv and end this journey once and for all, they'll have to brave the dungeon's mysteries and escape with their lives intact. But what will our true travelers find in the first room of dungeon but a potential ally, just trapped as they are, who will join them in their quest for freedom? Dipper places 3 figurines on the carpet, just off to the side of the game board. And you get to choose your character now, Cynthia. These starters with pre-made templates, so they're pretty good for short notice editions like this. Shit, I'll go with the human bard. Bards use an invigorating song to encourage their allies, or the blow of their insults to damage their enemies. I can't speak today either! I've kind of reevaluated my stance on bards lately. You'll come in handy if we encounter the undead. Will we? Maybe. Hey, stop trying to play ahead!
Yeah.
Dipper moves your figurine onto the board, beside Vernon and Tyros. Alright, what's their name gonna be? Alex. Alex, short for Alexandrius. You here for trying Alexandrius out under his belt? Too nice. Sorry. I'll just call them Alex. Here's your character sheet. It's got all the info in it. Our hero encountered Alexandrius, Alex for short, in the first room of the dungeon. Alex, what's your deal with our main villain, Miv the Meddling? Alex explains how she struck Miv's ire and turns Tyros that Miv bested him in a duel. An embarrassment, because Miv is a sorcerer, as sorcerers are known for their physical combat skills and Tyros' defense. He was still young at the time. But none of this matters, because to finally face down Miv, they must escape. Behind you is a plain door. On the wall in the far... This is literally the brain dump episode. Why did you take my mermaid away from me? I'm sorry. I need to do like a brain dump watch party one day. Anyways. Having woken up here with no recollection of getting here at all, you have no way of knowing which door you came in or should go out of or even direction. And then I'll take a look around. Before it shows you what to roll. Sorry, my throat's getting sore, so that's why I'm skipping through some stuff. Nice roll. Tack to one of the walls. What's the state of the door behind us? See for yourself, I'm still the DM. I can't respond unless you check the door. Ford casts detect magic, and after confirming the as the last of you step through the doorway, it melts, seeping into the wall as if it were never there. Guess we're not going back that way. The chandelier overhead ignites, casting the room in a warm orange glow and revealing an impressive door on the doorways. There's only one way to go, and that's straight ahead. Wait. What are you gonna do about the lump in front of it that's blocking the door? Move it aside. Alex strides ahead of the party, straight to the door, and takes a hold of the lump to haul it aside. But the moment Alex makes contact with it, the lump startles, moving to reveal that it was a sleeping goblin all along. The goblin gets up, standing to its attention. Travelers, I noticed. Again, it's just reminding me of Brain Dump and Smiling Friends.
gotta do the Smiling Friends gremlin, goblin voice.
Travelers, I notice thee, and I demand answer these riddles 3. Which hand of the witch hand will it be?
God, this is so obnoxious, man. Answer the riddles. The goblin reaches into his pocket, pulling out a crumpled piece of paper that he unfolds with care.
What has 88 keys but can't open a single door?
I've heard this one before. It's piano, right?
Next, what kind?
Sorry.
What kind of keys cannot open doors?
Now I just sound like Grim.
Ah, yes, smiling friends, we meet at last.
A turnkey.
And finally, what is the first thing you did on your adventure?
Look around.
The door is now open to you. Fabulous, homies.
The goblin steps aside to let you go through the doorway. And with that, you cleared my goblin puzzle. Well, a fourth of them anyway. It could have gone so many other ways. Dipper then beams, and you follow his line of light to realize it's because Ford just gave Dipper an encouraging smile of his own. As soon as you enter the next room, the wall melts over the doorway, sealing you in. Glancing around... Sorry. After inspecting and interacting with orbs for a few minutes, you come to realize a few things. There are 26 orbs. You can touch them to make them glow. You can only touch 6 of the orbs at a time. And when 7 are touched, all orbs fade to their original color. Each orb is labeled with integers that run constructively from 1 to 26, starting from the leftmost orb. Looks like we need a password for this one, Cynthia. If the puzzle is fair, it must be a word we've already been introduced to. One that stands out.
I was not paying attention, so...
Yeah, that's the ghost I'm needing here, so what's the word? I believe it was homies. Good. Now, connect those two together. Which orbs do you touch? The 8th one, then the 15th one, then the 13th, followed by the 9th, 5th, and 19th. The room rumbles, and you turn to find a green glass door. Walking up to get a closer look, you see an engraved door is a riddle. The door reads, if you go into the green glass door, you can bring a bulb and not a bat. If you can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee, but not tea. You can bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. If you wish to pass, you must present an acceptable offering. Interesting one, Dipper. Let's think. A bulb, but not a bat. I think I understand, Cynthia. What could you bring through the door? My offering is a barren book of spells. While Dipper's flipping through his notebook. That was a nice job, Cynthia. I'm impressed you got the riddle. Is it hot in here, or is it just the side effect of green glass door disintegrating? You high 6 forward beaming as Dipper finds the page he needs to continue the game. The green glass door swings open. You go through to freedom. And there it is! The end of the dungeon. I cut it down a bit on the fly. I didn't want to make it too long. I would have ran a murder mystery if I had planned it out for Ajax with my tense friends. They were on gone with my focus group. So, what did you think?
So what happens next? When do we fight the sorcerer?
This would actually transition into the next Superplat-centric campaign about infiltrating the Sorcerer's Tower Castle.
Dipper shows you a couple of pages from his campaign book, which looks to be filled with various dungeon sketches with realistic physics calculated and crowded into every spare space.
Well, Dipper, I think you did well. It's not easy adding an extra player on the short notice like that. I always write it in just in case. Not completely, but just a few notes.
Ford and Dipper launch into a conversation about dungeon mastering as they clean up their setup, returning to the game components to their original glossy fantasy box. They're too fast in practice for you to figure out how to help, so you just pick up the dice Ford lent you and return them to original velvet bag. Dipper leaves to put the DDAMD box back upstairs, and it's just you and Ford.
Cynthia, you did well for a first timer. I'd take you into a dungeon with me.
Oh, would you?
Would you? Would you? Would you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This has like the same energy. I know I keep making references to things that already exist, but it's just giving off the same energy as Queso simping for Chris Redfield.
I mean,
Ford gives you an embarrassed smile, but you're already smiling at him yourself. I know what you meant. Thanks, Ford. A call comes from the kitchen. It sounds like Stan.
well, I talk more, but... Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I talk more, but I better see what he eats.
Ford moves past you, heading towards the kitchen. You suddenly feel the need to hold on this moment. Like you need to say something. Ford? Yes? I know he's looking at you again. You don't remember what you were gonna say. All you say is, here's your set of dice back. Thanks for letting me use it. Ford chuckles, shaking his head.
No, you keep it. In case you decide to join us next. No, you keep it. In case you need to decide to join us again next time. See you at dinner. See you at dinner, Cynthia.
Alright. Let's save. Find Summer's wedding. Alright, Oh, that's really good art. What the fuck? Holy. Anyways, Alright, so I got this up, so we can play that another time, but I do think I am going to end stream here. But, this was fun. Thanks for watching.